This is lesson 3.5, B as in boy, the second video on 3.5 on the slope-intercept form. And I'm sorry, there just seems to be, in this book, every lesson just kind of gives you tons of stuff to try to remember. And it gets to be somewhat overwhelming sometimes. And I apologize for that. I'm trying to explain things as best I can, and I think it helps. But I also realize that sometimes the struggle is there's just so much information to try to remember. So that is one of the key reasons why I suggest taking really good notes. Because when you go to a quiz or a test, you've got your notes down as far as how to do each one of these. So hopefully that'll help. So we're looking at example number 6. And it's getting just a little bit more in depth here. It says find the equation of a line. So we're looking for an equation that's in this form. Y equals mx plus b. Anytime we find the equation of a line, it's going to be in slope-intercept form. All right, it goes through the point 2, 5 and is perpendicular. Remember, that's a symbol to perpendicular to the equation okay? So it's perpendicular to that. So there's some line out there. And that line is perpendicular to that equation that I just gave you. So let's go ahead and get our graph here. So let me just show you what we're looking for before we actually do it. All right, there's some line out here. Let's just say it's right here. There's some line there, and that's what this represents, is that line. Okay, and the line we're looking for goes through point 2, 5 and is perpendicular to this line, which means it's going to go like that and form a 90-degree angle there. Okay, so the black line, the equation of this black line is what we're looking for. Okay, and like I said, I just made this line up as far as the direction it goes and everything, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the equation of this line that's perpendicular to this line and goes through this point 2, 5. Okay, so all of that just to say, maybe that helps to explain what in the world we're trying to do. So how do we do that? We're looking for slope and y-intercept. Notice we are given neither. Now in the last problem that we had, we used a point in order to find the y-intercept, and that's why they gave this to you. This is to help you find the y-intercept. This equation here is to help you find the slope, because remember, those are what you're looking for, the slope and the y-intercept. We'll find the slope first. That's usually what you do, is you find the slope first and then you find the y-intercept. So we'll kind of ignore this part right here for right now, and we'll look at this. Well, why do we want to look at this? Well, because they said that the line we're looking for is perpendicular to this line. So, and if you remember, with perpendicular lines, remember the slope. The slope is always the opposite and the slope turned upside down. So if we have a slope of 3/4, the perpendicular slope is flip it upside down and put a negative on it. Okay? So if our line that we're looking for is perpendicular to this one, if we can find the slope of this one, flip it upside down and take its opposite, we will know the slope to this one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 3x plus 4y, and we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. So we're going to get this y all by itself. So we're going to subtract 3x here, and we get 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Remember, you always put the number with the x first. Then we're going to divide by 4, divide by 4. Those go away. And then we're going to split them up. Put them both over 4, and that 12 over 4 can reduce to a 3. So let's just change that and put a 3 there. All right, so what do we have here? We have it in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So there's my b. I don't really care about my y-intercept for this equation. That's not what we're looking for. All we did was take this equation and rewrote it in slope-intercept form. That's all we did. We have not found anything about the new equation yet. But we do know that the new equation that we're looking for is perpendicular to this one. Perpendicular means that the slope is going to be the upside down version and the opposite sign. So the slope of our new equation is going to be 4/3. Okay, so let's get rid of all this goop. So the slope is 4/3. That's the slope of our new equation. So right now, what do we have? Okay, we have to find b. And lo and behold, remember in the last one, that's where we use the 2 and the 5. So we're going to put a 5 in for y and a 2 in for x. And we just have to find what that b equals now. So 5 equals 4 times 2 is 8. Yuck, fractions. Those go away. Okay, so, oops, I don't know why I put the line there. We're subtracting, aren't we? 5 minus 8/3 equals b. Oh, goodness. So we need a common denominator. So the common denominator is a 3. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. And that's a b, not a 6. 15 minus 8 is 7. Okay, so there is my y-intercept. So I have that, and I have the slope. And that's enough information to write this new equation. Y equals 4/3 x plus 7/3. There is our new equation that is perpendicular to that and goes through those points. Phew-wee, that's a lot of stuff, isn't it? Okay, so that's why it's always good to take, sorry, I keep harping on the good news, the good notes part of it, because that's just really important. Takes us to our last one, example 7. Find the equation of a horizontal line passing through the point -3, -1. Okay. Boy, they make life a little bit easy on you for this one. So let's, whoops, forgot to grab the grabber. Okay. So, it goes through -3, -1. Right, there's the point. And it says, find the equation of the horizontal line. Well, a horizontal line that goes through that point is just that. Okay. Now, what do you know about horizontal lines? We want it in this format. Do we know what the slope of a horizontal line is? The slope of a horizontal line is 0. The slope of a vertical line doesn't exist, but the slope of a horizontal line, whoops, is 0. And the other part we're looking for is our, not our y, our y-intercept. Where does that line cross the y-axis? At -1. So those are the bits of information we need. Okay, what is any number times 0? Is 0. So we don't even need this. This just goes away. And we get an answer that looks like that. And that's it for example 7. All right, let's look at some problem sets. All right, so the problem sets. We're starting at number 29. So 29 to 38. You're just rewriting those problems in y equals mx plus b format, and then graph them. And then it's real easy to graph because you have your y-intercept, and then you've got your slope of m. 39 to 46, they are giving you the slope and the y-intercept and just asking you to write the equation. So if you look at 46, m equals -2 and b equals 4. All we're going to do is replace m with -2 and b with 4, and we're done. That's putting it in the right form. All right, let's look at 47, 48, 49, and 50. Let's look at number 48. We are at 0, 5, and we're going to 3, 0. And they're asking us to find the slope. Well, they're asking us to find the slope and y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? At 5. The slope then is fairly easy to find because you're just going from this point here. How do I get from that point to this point? Well, I go down and over. How far down did I go? I went down -5 and I went over +3, and there's your slope. It's easy as that. Now to write the equation, we just write it like this: slope and y-intercept, and we're done. All right, takes us to 51 to 58, and that's just like the example we did, example 5. So I'm not going to do any of those because they're exactly the same as example 5 there. All right, let's look at 59 to 64. Find the equation of the line passing through the given point, and A, parallel to the given line, B, perpendicular to the given line. Okay, so you're doing two parts to this. So you're finding an equation, which is going to be, again, in this format. And what did they do? They're wanting one parallel. So let's say for number 59, they give you 1, 2, and then they give you an equation here. This is just the equation you're using to come up with the new equation. So first of all, A part of it says they want you to come up with an equation that's perpendicular to this one. Well, if this equation, it's in y = mx plus b form, so the 3 is the slope, or 3 over 1, perpendicular, if we're doing A, it says what is the perpendicular? Well, the perpendicular slope is 1/3 with a minus sign. So that's the slope of the new one. And then B, remember we took these two numbers, we put 1 in here and 2 in here, and the -1/3 and put in there, and we were able then to find our y-intercept, or our B. The next part of this equation, the B part of it says, I guess A was to find one parallel to the given line, B is one perpendicular to the given line. So parallel to the given line, that means that if the slope of our given line is 3, our slope to the new equation is also going to be 3, because parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have the slope that's the opposite. So if it's negative, the new slope is positive. If it's positive, the new slope is negative. And the fraction, if it's like 1/3, it gets flipped over, or 2/3 gets flipped over. Okay, so that's just what they're wanting you to practice: perpendicular and parallel. And that takes us all the way through to 69, where you're just following instructions. Shouldn't be any trouble. They're just asking you to do basic things that we've already done. Okay, so that's 3.5.